As we now progress towards our written exercises, I want to talk about the importance of having good lateral flexion and how that can lead to developing a really nice soft bend in your horse and a nice light natural self-carriage. So we want to start by working on our lateral flexion on the ground. So you can start in your halter or your bridle with bit or without a bit, whatever you use, it doesn't make a difference. The concept is the same for the horse. So we're going to stand on the horse's shoulder. I'm going to place my right hand on the horse's wither so that I can move with the horse if the horse decides to walk around. I can follow the horse. So I've got my hand on the saddle, or if you don't have the saddle on, just on your horse's wither or on its back. I'm going to take a very light feel on the rein there. So when she decides to move her feet like that, I'm just going to go with her and hold that contact until she stands and is soft, then I will release. So I'll just position her back for you again. I'm just going to ask very lightly for her to give to that. There. So she's nice and soft. I can release, and then we can ask again. So asking very softly. There, her head went up a bit. I'm going to hold until she comes around and softens. Again, I'm going to take that light feel. Hold. So she comes around and is soft. So you're taking your hand out away from the horse. As she softens and bends, the hand comes up towards her wither. So again, hand goes out away from the horse, up towards the wither. She's holding on that a little. I'm going to wait for her to soften and then I'll release. So she's just leaning on that a little bit. There, she softens, so I release. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Stand at her shoulder, ask her to flex. Now, when she softens, she tries to take her nose back, so I'm just going to ask her again. Hold, she softens, I release. Again, bend, soften, release. Do this side once more, then we'll go back to the other side. There, release. And out away from the horse, and up towards the wither. Soften and release. You can then also ask your horse to flex from the opposite side. So same thing, take the rein out. Wait for her to soften, release. And that is a good exercise to test if the horse is simply bending around to where you're standing, or if they're actually responding to that soft feel on the rein. Good. And the same thing from this side, asking her to flex away from me to make sure that she's responding to the rein and not just to where I'm standing. Good. Okay, so now that our lateral flexion is quite good on the ground, we can get on the horse and do exactly the same thing. So I'm not going to ask her to walk anywhere, I'm just going to simply get on and ask her to flex both ways, standing in the one position. If she wants to move, I'm going to bend her around on one rein, doesn't matter which, and I'm going to hold that until she stops her feet, stands and relaxes again. She shouldn't want to walk off if I haven't asked her to, so she needs to stand still and just wait for me to ask her to go somewhere. So a really good way to ensure that every time is when you're mounting, if she goes to move, you don't get on that next step until she's still standing still. So if I put my foot in the stirrup, she starts to move, I'm not going to proceed to get on until she can stand still when I lift my foot up to the stirrup. If I'm halfway up and she starts to move, I'm going to get up and down halfway until she can stand still at that point. And then when she can stand still for me to get on all the way and then remain standing still is when you're then going to ask your horse to walk off. But to start with, we're going to ask our horse to stand in the one position and we're going to work on our lateral flexion. So I'm going to check my girth, that's fine. When you're getting on, you can ask for a little bit of bend towards you so that if she does go to move, you can move with her again and she can just walk in a small circle. She's not going to take off whilst you're trying to get on. If she feels the need to move, I have a little bit of bend already. So here at this point, she's still standing still. I can ask for a bit more bend. And I can get all the way up, she's still standing still. At this point, your horse should still be standing still and not wanting to move off. So if she's happy there, we can start our lateral flexion, same as on the ground. Take the rein out away from the horse, and then up in front of the saddle and over her. When she's soft, release the rein, and she can straighten her head. Same on the other side. Take the rein out, and then comes up in front of the saddle, cut her with her. She's holding against me, I'm just going to hold and wait for her to soften. As soon as she softens a little bit, I'll release her. Good go. Next this way again, going out. Hold until she softens. And then release. So a handy tip for when you're doing this is to hold your rein in one hand, or if you've got joint rein, hold your rein at the buckle. Slide your hand down the rein as far as you can without leaning forward. So you're not wanting to lean forward in your body, sitting up nice and straight. If you slide your hand down as far as you can reach without leaning forward, then take your rein out away from the horse and then back in front. Generally that will put your hand in the correct position on the rein. So again, if I've got English reins or joint reins holding on the buckle, or if I'm just holding one rein, reach as far as I can without leaning forward, take the nose, ask for her to soften. As soon as she softens, then I'll release. It's important also that you're not holding onto your outside rein. So here I had my outside rein completely loose sitting on her neck. If you have joint reins, you've got to make sure that this rein is loose. That's why if you're holding onto the buckle, you're not pulling on that outside rein. So again, I'm going to take my hand out away from the horse, making sure I'm not pulling on this outside rein, so lower that hand and wait for her to soften and then release. Same on the other side, holding where my buckle would be, taking my hand down as far as I can reach without leaning forward, bending her nose, ready for her to soften and release. Good.